Okay, it did not do the timer.
even though I said it. So
Walk of shame.
even though I said it. So all right.
That means we ready.
All right, y'all. So let's get into it. This is the official chapter one of the corner.
Yes,
And here we
yes,
are.
yes.
We're going to be discussing schooling, versus when we were in school versus the virtual learning now.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we brought in a special guest. We brought in my brother. This is Tucker right here, and he's gonna talk about his experience. When it hit, when the whole pandemic hit versus now, and what's his new normal at this point. So, like I said, you got BK1. This is my boy Matt.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, everybody? My YouTube link will be at the link. At the bottom of the description. So make sure you check that out.
I'm Anthony. Don't really have a YouTube channel yet. Just kind of here for the conversation and the laughs. Get a little couple yucks in. I'm gonna pass that to my boy back here.
It's JD, aka Tuka. I have a YouTube channel starting up. Actually, it started up right now, but I don't have any videos on there. But mine will be in the description. I'm doing a lot of entertainment stuff for y'all, so stay tuned.
Oh yeah.
All right, word. So that being said, man, I just want to tap into why we made this show and why we call it The Corner. So we call this corner, not The Corner, but we call this show The Corner based on, us. Because when we were in school, whatever, everybody had their little sections in the commons area. You had people over there on the wall by the vending machines. You had people sitting directly in the center of the commons. You had people over there by the office or whatever, but you always had the corner. And the corner was our spot. No matter what happened, no matter where you had to go, you had to pass by the corner at some point. And in the corner, we just talk about anything. We could talk about relationships, we could talk about schooling, we could talk about anything and everything in the corner. And no matter who you was, man, we was a diverse group. You had your nerds, you had your, I guess if you want to call it, popular people. We had all kinds of mixes in there, and it made us unique from everyone else, I feel like. But with that being said, we welcome y'all to the corner. And like I said, this is my channel, so make sure you subscribe, and also hit that like button.
Oh yeah.
I want all that smoke.
Oh
yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna pass off to my brother JD, and he's gonna get into everything that hit him when the pandemic hit, and what his new norm is now. So I'm gonna pass off to you, man.
So yeah, basically, a lot has changed since the pandemic hit. We went from social to just straight online, emailing assignments and emailing teachers for questions and whatnot. But there's a lot of pros and cons to it. I feel like virtual, you have a lot of time to do stuff. You don't have to actually have to rush to get up and do things like you would normally do for going to school. But then you have virtual, you have to wait a couple of days for questions, or you have to, you do more work because teachers seem to be more lazy when it comes to giving out work that will actually benefit you. So that's really it about the differences between the two.
I mean, I know before we got into the set, man, I know you said sometimes you can have a question, whatever, it might take like 3 days for somebody to respond to you. Like, for us, that's just, that's out of there because, with us, we had any questions, anything like that, we went right up to the teacher, like, hey, we're not getting this. Or if we need to stay after school, we stayed after school. But it's almost like now that's not even an option for y'all at this point. You can't just stay technically after school, whatever. And, I don't know how it is with virtual learning now, but it's just like, what is a student supposed to do? They got something that needs to be turned in, and then, hey, I don't have an answer within 3 days to get my assignment done, and then boom, now I got a failing grade.
But like I said, it depends on the teacher. Some teachers, they'll actually just respond to you in like a couple minutes or an hour or so. But then you got those teachers that just wait for days to the point where the only thing you really have for help is Google. That's why I think they take that much time to respond back because, you have all this stuff to help you and whatnot. And honestly, you just get the information on your own, but it's different for a different type of learners. You got hands-on, you got visual, and you just got people that can just look at videos. Everybody's not the same. That's why I feel like this virtual learning aspect is helping some people, but it's also hurting some people.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like you guys have kind of mentioned that the teachers won't really get in touch with you within like 3 days. It's almost like you guys are being put on a wait list.
Mhm.
Do you think that kind of breaks down the trust between teacher and student?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Because like you said, if you need help, you need help. You instantly need that help because you asked to. Someday that the assignment's going to be due, so you don't want to be clueless for the whole deadline.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find out it's late, you get points taken off or whatever. But yeah, like I said, you got Google. Just use that to the best of your ability
Right.
while you have it.
So as far as verse in school learning, how do you get your assignments? Is it like a week at a time? Is it a daily thing that you get like, all right, so you wake up in the morning, there's a new email and this is what you have to do for the day? Or is it something that's like, all right, so here's the things that you need to learn and this is it for the week? Or like, is there any really teaching involved anymore? Like how do they go about that?
I mean, yeah, like as far as teaching goes, they have like videos you can look at to like kind of, I guess, learn from them. They'll like put it out on a calendar whether you do this day, that this day, and more so on. But yeah, they basically have us watching videos rather than just teaching us. But it might be different this year since it's full on virtually.
Right.
Last year was kind of like half and half. But yeah, that's,
I mean, in the day, I mean, when the pandemic hit, that was pretty much the training point. I think, you know, like at that point in time, bless you. At that point in time, you know, nobody knew what to do. Like, oh man, you know, how we getting hit with this? And then you got to look at the level of teacher. And I'm not saying level of teacher as far as education or degree, but you got a younger teacher versus an older teacher.
Right.
A younger teacher might be able to take this task on with no problem. Like, oh, okay, this is something I'm used to. You know, this stuff I've been doing or whatever. Versus an older teacher, and then they just like, man, what is this? What is that? Or whatever have you, or whatnot. So you know, it's going to be a learning curve for a lot of people, not only the students but the teachers as well. And you know, it's just funny to me because like when we go into, you know, getting help from teachers and things of that nature, whatever. Just say for instance, if I'm going to be writing a paper for, you know, English or whatever, literature or whatnot, you know, you got to have sources.
Right.
But now that you're at home, all your sources are coming from your computer. You're not going to the library or things of that nature to get all these different sources. So I'm like, how's that working? Because, you know, when I was in school, you had to have like, what, 3 different sources. I think you had to have a book, internet, and what, like newspaper or something like that. It was the third one I know.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. So, you know, I find that interesting going forward, like how are, you know, we're gonna get different sources. But
As
I like this.
far as sources go, I mean, I kind of feel like that process may be streamlined a little bit as far as your sources are the same thing that you're using to actually do your work at this point. So, like, if you're listing them, then, all right, so I went to this website. And then, like, now, since you don't have a library to go to, you don't have anything like that, you're basically just either copy, pasting a link or, you know, something like that. And when it comes to, honestly, the thing that I'm most curious about is how teachers are getting, like you said, as far as old teachers, new teachers who might be, who might take to this program easier, who might take to this, you know, way of teaching easier. I think it'll be an experience for the teachers and themselves to collect and be like, so, all right, so my students are having problems with this, my students are having problems with this. An older teacher, whereas they might not be as tech savvy or something like that, they still have the experience from all those years of actually teaching. All right, well, if you're having this issue, like if we were, you know, going back to in school days, this is what I would do to instruct them to get there to that point to, you know, understand. Now, the only thing that I feel like might have some sort of disconnect these days is that face-to-face. The teacher, sometimes it used to be a hindrance having the teacher hovering over your shoulder, but at this point, now that you're at home by yourself, no other peers, no nothing, you know, this might be, you know, something, again, for teachers to collab on. Like, how are you connecting to your students? Like, how are you, you know, reaching out? And what sucks, I think, as far as like this new virtual learning thing that's going on is you're missing that personal connection. Like, as far, you know, for Zoom meetings and stuff like that, you know, they could bridge a gap, and I'm not sure if there's a structure for that, you know, to have again, shout out to teachers if there's some sort of structure for you guys to have like a time of day that you would address the students from this block, this block, this block, and this block. But, you know, I'm hoping that maybe this isn't a completely negative thing to happen for schooling. Like, I feel like, you know, this is a way to kind of sort of be progressive in the academic world. You know what I'm saying? And as far as JD goes, like, when you're, you know, waiting for a teacher's response and stuff like that, is that something that it's a regular occurrence? Is that like, so you've got one class, let's say, that you have trouble with. Is it something that's like, all right, so this new thing, this new curriculum or lesson plan or whatever it is that you're supposed to do for that day, is that something that's happening every single time, or?
I mean, yeah, when it comes to classes, it happens frequently with certain classes, but as far as some other teachers, they'll like give you, you know, tips on what to do, or they send you videos, stuff like that. But like other classes, you know, like personally, my math class, I didn't even, when I had trouble with something, just waited a while to email me. So I went on like this website, whatever, it's, you know, kind of, you know, jog my memory a little bit to do my assignments.
I mean, but with these videos they send you, is it videos they personally sending to you, or they just like taking to YouTube and just sending you something like, all right, boom, this is the information you're gonna need, figure it out?
I think that's what like every department in the, you know, every academic department, they have like their own video to send out to their students or whatever. So we all learn from, I guess, view that video and learn from that, as far as just randomly going on YouTube to pick a random video.
Gotcha.
I kind of find a slight problem with that. I mean, yeah, since what you're saying that they send a video, you know, to you know, to all the kids, I'm assuming it's one of those things where you can just go back and watch, you know, anytime. Which is, on one side, you know, you can go to that video and watch as many times as you want until you retain that information. Yeah, right, for convenience. But on the other side of it, it's still not really a real teacher-student relationship, you know, because it's just the teacher, you know, or however they do it. They've done this video already and just sent it out, blast, email, or whatever, and it's just one of those things where you just go back and see it, you know, at your own leisure.
On loop?
On loop. Yeah, essentially, you know, on loop. And it's like, well, if I have this current problem now, and this video that you sent me doesn't really answer my question, you know, I need
personal, you know,
right, I need help from my teacher. Right.
Man, everybody learns different. Nobody learns the same.
Exactly. You know, it kind of upsets me that, you know, if that's the route that they're going, like I said, it's really not going to be too much of a student/teacher relationship, because if I'm trusting you as my instructor, you know, to help me advance to the next level, you know, I need all this help, but you're not available for 2 to 3 days, or I'm essentially on this wait list, you know, it just kind of prolongs my learning curve.
Right.
And, you know, it'll still be more of a hindrance on my, you know, my growth, you know, my advancement, you know, to the next grade, or just to, you know, in JD's case, he's a senior, it will hinder my graduating, you know, future.
Right.
You know, so, you know, that it kind of, you know, I understand, you know, what's going on right now, of course, in the midst of a pandemic and things like that. And I don't blame teachers at all, because they got to go through this stuff too. You know,
Right.
They got to adjust their teaching techniques now.
Right.
You know, because once upon a time, you know, sad to say it, but once upon a time, you know, everybody was in class, the teacher was, you know, in the front of the room, right there, writing on the whiteboard or chalkboard if they still got it.
Smartboard.
Right, you know.
I mean, even with smartboards, I mean, for us, we didn't get smartboards until almost we graduated.
That was right there at the end.
So technology.
Where'd the projectors go?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was a little cart with a projection, like
So I don't put all of this. I mean, I can't put all of this on teachers, because they're just as lost as the students.
Right.
You know, they're not quite sure what to do. You know, roll with the punches, or as the saying goes, don't let them see you sweat. You know, like they're just as lost as the students.
Yeah.
Right.
you know, it just kind of saddens me because, you know, now, you know, the future generations, if this is going to be you know, if this type of learning is going to be here to stay, they're not going to really get to experience the interaction with, you know, amongst their peers and with their teachers and things like that. They're really going to miss out on, you know, key milestones in their growth development from pre-K all the way to high school and things like that. Even in college, you know, because college is doing a lot of virtual learning too. You know, they're gonna miss out on the experiences of how it is to go to school. You know, attend school or go on campus. Even though before college was, you know, offering online classes in some parts of high schools, or you know, magnet schools, excuse me,
Right.
they were offering online classes and things like that where you don't have to report to class all the time.
Right.
But now that this is just a new thing, you know, and it just kind of happened so suddenly, you know, a lot of people are literally, you know, scrambling around for, you know, just to find some sort of normalcy,
Right.
you know, in this whole teaching slash learning process. And it's just, you know, I give it up to the teachers and I give it up to the students because they're all going through it together.
Yeah.
It's just a wild time that we're in, man.
And really, to speak more on that topic, the separation between generations, as far as like now smart boards and everything. Smart boards are old for this new generation. You know what I'm saying? Like technology has come so far to where virtual learning was almost already a thing in class.
Yeah.
You know, compared to where we were, and let's say the generations before us, technology has come so far in such a short amount of time. If this had happened in 2000 or 2005 or something like that, where would we be as far as, you know, trying to get some sort of, you know, at-home thing to work? Like, you know, because at that time laptops weren't a thing to where like they weren't so easily accessible to where, all right, so this is what's happening, start handing out laptops the same way teachers used to hand out syllabus packages and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? And as far as like the students versus teachers thing, you know, hopefully that it's not a completely negative, you know, experience. I feel like there's room for progression in this, you know, era as far as, you know, technology being where it is. Maybe this could be something that is easier to adjust to based off of the newer technology that is, you know, accessible at our fingertips at this point.
Yeah.
And I guess a question to you would be, because like, if you have college aspirations or, you know, plans to go further in schooling, is this something that you feel like you could more adjust to? Is this something that you could become accustomed to as a norm?
I mean, yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, there'll definitely have to be a lot of things to get used to as far as, you know, going from high school to college with this new virtual stuff going on. Because, you know, some colleges still allow, like, on-campus experiences, and then some just allow virtual.
Right.
So you got to make that choice whether you want to do virtual or on campus.
I mean, you know, with that being said, with colleges and whatever, I feel like that's a big pusher for them now, because you had a lot of schools that, I mean, they offer online or whatever, but it wasn't as big.
It wasn't
was
pushed.
Like, it wasn't pushed or whatever. But, you know, now it's pushed, so therefore it's like, okay, now we got to invest more time in making sure that, you know, they have that online option, because, you know, you got people like, you know, Strayer University, you know, they, you know, it's almost like they kicking in the door talking about that big talk. Oh yeah, we've been prepared for this. We're built for we're built for at home learning or whatever. But then you got other schools that, you know, they did it, but it wasn't, you know, as big now, because they normally did it for, like, you know, older people, like, you know, somebody, when I mean older, not like old, but like, you know,
People
somebody in their 30s, 40s that want to go back to school,
Right.
and they, you know, they doing online because it works with their schedule, because they're working class or whatnot. Versus now, you got kids that's 18, 19 getting into
fresh
college.
out of high school.
Yeah,
right,
and now I got to virtual learn and be at home or whatever. And and my whole plan was to go to college and be away from home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just a different part of the spectrum now. You know, so it's just, man, I really feel for the, you know, the kids that are coming up in this from, you know, elementary, really more so elementary, then you got middle school, then you got high school, because social interaction is definitely a must for any kid. I don't even care if you're in high school, you don't want that social interaction.
Right.
You know, back when we was in school, we used to talk, man, it's like, you know, man, I don't even really care about being in school. If I ever came back, it would really just be for the people. And
Right.
now I ain't got the people.
Now,
So,
now,
you know,
now you gotta
now,
walk that
yeah,
walk.
yeah, now you gotta walk that walk. Now it's like,
Right.
shit, you in it now? So, yeah.
And like even to speak on that more as far as the younger generations go, is like kindergartners, preschoolers, and stuff like that. People that like just starting out into school. That's something that like school is really a developmental thing, more so not just for academics but for social development, as far as like being around a group of people, working together, you know, coming together, having people around you doing the same thing, trying to accomplish the same mission and everything. It's going to be kind of wild to see how we transition, just like we did into it, if there is another one to go back into regular schooling, like going back to school, going back to throwing people back onto the schedule. All right, so you got to be here on this time, you got to have the work done on this, you know, at this rate. Whereas at home, it seems like it's more of a relaxed environment to just kind of like, all right, so I'm gonna wake up at like 9, and you know what I'm saying? And kind of just, all right, so I gotta log in, I gotta get what done now, and it's like there's less structure, so it'll be interesting to see how, especially the younger generations, adjust to something like that. And honestly, it kind of sucks to see, you know, the kindergartners and stuff like that. This would have been there for all the transitioning, you know, ages from elementary school to middle school, from middle school to high school. Like, they're now put off, at least as far as we know, this year. You know, that much further. You have 5th graders who would have been coming into middle school. Now they're 7th graders getting the first, you know, taste of middle school, and instead of, you know, 9th graders being freshmen, they're coming in as sophomores getting their first taste of high school. And it's really kind of like it's interesting to see, and at the same time it's kind of tragic to see, because in my eyes, their developmental process has been delayed at that point, you know.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, they got the rug pulled out of them, because like you said, you know, here I am, you know, I'm a kid, I'm in 4th grade, I'm finally about to become a 5th grade, I'm about to be a big dog, versus, oh, I'm a 5th grade, I'm about to finally go to middle school. Boom. Oh, dang, it's different now. You know, like, you know, so, you know, I look at it like this, whatever. Everybody had these aspirations, wherever grade they was in, to move on to the next one, what the experience is going to be like. And now I feel like a lot of kids have been robbed of it now, so it's like they won't get to see certain things happening, things of that nature, like, you know. And I know we was even talking earlier about high school, whatever, you know. There's no pep rallies, there's no football games at this point. You know, it's just like everything that you thought you could go out and experience, you can't experience anymore. Like, even when I was in middle school, man, like, football and basketball was big for us. And then, like, if we was in the game, you know, we walk out, hey, let me get a Vitapup, let me get about 3 shots in that thing. You know, like, you won't get that experience. Shots of sour, you know, just to let y'all know. But, you know, just, I mean, you know, we had that experience. So our whole school career, we had that experience. And then you got kids coming up now, they might not, it's sad to say they might not never get it, but I know at least for the foreseeable rest of this year, they might not get that experience. And, you know, it's just, it's crazy to think about, because, you know, just say, for instance, here I am, you know, I'm fresh out of middle school, about to go to high school. Oh, I might be one of the big dogs, you know, I'm going to do this, that, and the third, or whatever. You thought you was going to do that, but you're not doing that no more, you know what I mean? So, it's just crazy to think of, man. It really is.
I mean, just something so simple as carrying a book bag, man. Like, they're not gonna be able to experience that. Like, literally, they wake up. Their house is the school building. Their house is their campus, essentially.
You got virtual folders and, you know,
virtual folders,
virtual assignments, sending assignments.
Y'all gotta have some storage space on the laptop. Woo! I know I kept my locker full.
To speak on that, like, I want to say that I congratulate and am very proud of the parents who have taken the title as teacher this year. Like, I've been seeing a lot of things on social media, like videos and pictures and just documentation of like this new transition into like this is what it is now, like full workstations, laptops, desks, like legit cubicle, designated areas for kids to, do their schooling this year. Like, good job. Like, I'm really like, I'm happy and proud to see that. Like, I'm not a parent myself, but just to see it, it's more motivation. Like, you know what? Like, I see it being done, so therefore it can be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to speak even further on that point, like, I feel like the school being brought home now, it's gonna put a lot of parents to the test. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like you were counting on public services and everything, like school, daycare, after school programs, team sports and all that to help raise your child. Now you are everything. You are the teacher, you're the principal, you're the coach, you're everything when it comes to that child. And hopefully, the parents stand to pass that test, and it's probably going to expose a lot of weaknesses at home, because just like if they're sending laptops to your house and giving you all this, extra help to make sure that things get done at the home front, if they're not getting done, they literally have a finger on everything that's not getting done that is getting done at the house. So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be an interesting show of effort, on the parents now.
Which is, like you said, it's really going to expose a lot of weaknesses, because, with the parent being away all the time, or, the parent being at work and the child being at school, nobody really makes it home till about 4 or 5 o'clock or something. Afternoon time, evening time. Half the day, you're pretty much half the day, away from them.
Off doing your own thing.
Off doing your own thing. And it kind of, I think in most cases it might sometimes scare a lot of parents, because, it's like, well, I don't really know you like that. It's like,
very true.
Because I've been at work. I mean, and I hate to say it like that, but it's like,
that's how it is.
I'm at like, you're my child, because
so this is you.
This is
I understand why I'm getting emails
right.
every week.
Exactly. So this is why they keep calling me while I'm at work,
right?
And I gotta leave work to come get you,
right?
But it's like, now that we're all we're home. If you're having to work at home, if you work remotely. Especially, parents in that situation. Now you're gonna get to see, you're gonna get a chance to really see how your child kind of conducts themselves, and it's gonna kind of put you to the test of decision making and things like that. Really understanding your child's emotions, what they're going through, and now from their standpoint, you really have to be more empathetic, because this whole virtual learning thing, before it hit, nobody was really doing that, except just going on YouTube and just, doing just really using the internet for, non-productive, for non-productive things.
Okay.
Now I have to go on YouTube to look at quadratic formulas and Pythagorean theorems and saying what a hypothesis is, and
order of operations.
Exactly. Hypothesis. It's really going to open a lot of obstacles for both the child and the parent to jump over, because, like I said, most of the times that 8-hour, sometimes 10-hour gap, y'all not around each other.
Right.
Now parents are going to be able to get to see what they're learning, what the curriculum is, how quick their child is or children are retaining information.
Yeah, we'll have an overview now.
Yep, yeah, exactly. And like you said, now the parent has to, after work, become the teacher. After leaving the 9 to 5, they got to work the 5 to 9 of being the teacher.
Right.
And the teacher, the coach, the janitor, the lunch lady, man, things like that. It's it's one of those things where it's really gonna, like I said, really test parenthood.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't say that to say that there's no hope, because everybody's capable of doing anything. it's just gonna be one of those things where you just have to, understand now that, hey, this is where we at right now. I just gotta roll with the punches. I gotta learn to adapt because, this is what it is right now.
Right.
Man, I don't know, man. I like what you said, man. Going from 9 to 5 to 5 to 9. That shit fit perfect. I ain't gonna lie, that shit fit perfect or whatever.
Yeah.
But just just with that, man, I just feel for some parents that aren't able to be here at home with their kids at the end of the day because they gotta work, they gotta provide for home.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like at the end of the day, whatever. Like so, it's like okay, and this just goes back to what we talked about earlier about cost and cost effectiveness and whatnot. So it's like now my kid is at home or whatnot. And depending on what age group that child is, I can't leave them at home by themselves.
Right.
So who's
Exactly.
taking the blunt of that? Whether it's a married couple or people that are co-parenting. Like, how is that getting dished out? Because here I am. I got my 5-year-old. They got learning they got to do on the computer and stuff like that. But I got to work at 6. How am I gonna work this out? And I feel for parents that are struggling to have to do that because it's like, man, this is really taking a toll on you. And then next thing your child's tardiness and F's and all that stuff is rising up because you're trying to balance work and get back to your child at the same time. And then not only that, it's just like when we talk about cost effectiveness, nothing has changed. And I say that because, okay, just because schools aren't spending as much gas to get your child to school, you're spending more energy to have your child at home, whether it be on the laptop, going in that fridge, getting them a snack, or whatever have you, whatever. The cost effectiveness scale it's been put from the school to the parent.
Yep.
And I do applaud schools that have been providing, students with laptops and things of that nature. I commend them on that because, yesterday I just recently went to go get a laptop, whatever, and it was cheap at all, and I just
Not
I
cheap.
feel
A lot
for,
of companies capitalizing right
yeah,
now.
Oh yeah,
like,
because the demand is high now.
it's crazy right now, because I went into a Best Buy the other day or whatever just to get a laptop. They were like, yeah, this is out, that's out. Like, dang, why so many laptops out? Because parents are trying to get their child prepared for what's to come, or what's their current situation at this point, or whatever. And it's just like, when it comes to a laptop, you gotta make sure you got enough RAM for it.
Yep.
You gotta make sure you have enough storage space and things of that nature or whatever. So it's just the cost effectiveness hasn't changed. It's just put more on the parents than it was, them being at school. And and for some parents, and I don't know this yet, I only have a 2-year-old, but some parents are really actually starting to learn who their children are, like you said earlier, whatever. It's like, dang, so you really act like this?
Yeah.
That's what's up. So they actually start learning their children. Like I've seen stuff through my timeline. Parents be like, yeah, come get your child and stuff like that or whatever because they actually started to learn their kid now. But I mean, from this point in time, we know this thing gonna probably last towards the end of the year, or at least the standard of how things are now is gonna last at the end of the year. We don't know what's to come next year. We're hoping things start to come to some normalcy, but right now it's not looking that way.
Yeah.
This appears to be the new norm.
Yeah.
And I know there seems to be a reoccurring question on the topic as far as old school versus this new virtual norm that we're facing. Do you feel like being at home, doing your schoolwork, having that separation from teacher, peers, and everything, do you feel like you are more motivated to do your work at home, or is it something that you kind of required that structure to kind of have you on the right path to do your work, or which way did you prefer?
I mean, I can't really speak on motivation because I'm at home. I don't want to do work.
Right.
At the same time,
Right.
if I'm at home and I'm doing work, I'm gonna have a lot of focus versus being at school and having all this drama going around and stuff like that. Yeah, focus a lot better. But then you gotta think about it. You got different kids that learn different ways. Some people like that environment to learn and study in and take notes from the teacher. But as far as that goes, I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but for myself, it's a lot more common and focusing for me to concentrate on my work and get it in on time.
Right.
Yeah, see, you better than me, because I mean, when I was at home, I won't really want to think about trying to do no work or things of that nature, whatever. I mean, I get it done, but it's like one of those things like I'm gonna get it done eventually.
Right, the last minute.
Yeah. Like, you know, oh, it gotta be done by 12 o'clock. All right, cool. I'll do it at 11:58. You know, just just things of that nature, whatever. So it's just like, you know, for you to say that, well, like I said, kids do learn differently because, you know, with me, if I had some homework, I came home. Be honest, I'm not going straight to that homework.
Right.
I want to go straight to that homework, but I can't. You know,
Ain't gonna happen.
I'm, you know, I'm
I'm getting off that bus. I'm thinking about a
Right.
snack. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about a
Something.
nap. I'm thinking
Right.
about
because,
yo,
you
who
know,
outside? Like,
right.
Might get confused on the game or
Something
something.
like that,
Right.
whatever. Because, like, you know, even in school, whatever, you know, we talk about school lunch and things of that nature, right? So for us, whatever, shoot, it was a perk to get extra. You know, you save your little 35 cents, get you a little extra, whatever,
Right.
and then you good to go.
Right.
But other than that, whatever you had, you came home, hey, I'm ready to eat.
Where that fridge
You
at?
know, like with
Yeah.
the fridge, you know what I mean? So, you know, just, but like I said, with you saying that, you know, it's better for you to be at home and doing your work. For me, nah, I couldn't do it. I'm just like, oof.
Okay,
Man.
that was like being in school, having that format, especially like I've spoken on a couple of times now, wink wink, but like having that personal, you know, face to face with the teacher, having them right there to answer your question as it appears, like, you know, as it pops up in your head, like, all right, so as soon as you crack that book, a lot of the times, at least what I found was the stuff we're practicing on the board doesn't quite carry over to what exactly it is that I'm supposed to be doing right here, right now on this page.
Mhm.
That separation seems to be kind of like even wider now that you're dealing with, you have to email the teacher, you have to wait on a response and stuff like that. Like, do you feel like you've been able to still effectively learn your classes, or is it something that's been an obstacle for you?
I feel like learning in school has just decreased a lot because you have like some teachers that just give out busy work. They don't give out work that will like benefit
Right.
your like learning and knowledge and stuff like that. But then you got the people that actually send those assignments and, you know, help you on time when you send the email and stuff like that. And, you know, you got videos and all that stuff. But some people, like I said before, some people just learn different ways. You either get it or you don't, or you look it up on Google or YouTube,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And I guess another question that comes from that is exactly how much FaceTime have you had with a teacher? Like, has it all been emails, or have you been able to have some sort of like a virtual meeting with them?
I had no FaceTime with the teacher.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that was
took-
my one. That was one teacher that had like Zoom meetings just in case you needed questions or other stuff like that. But other than
That's
that, I had no
commendable.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
And that exactly, and that's kind of a tragic thing, because like I said, like when you're in class and you have a question and you can raise your hand and the teacher's right there to, you know, come help you. Now that you're on your own at home doing this, like all based off of everything that you're looking at on the screen, some learners might pick up on that quickly. Some learn because like there's socially awkward people out there that are like, you know, they're nervous to raise their hand. They're, you know, so they're used to kind of finding things out on their own. So, you know, I guess, you know, great for them. But as far as like I feel like a more grander scale, it's harder for students to get things done because they're used to being able to ask questions. Now that's not an immediate response right there is not an option anymore.
Right.
And that's something that, like, you know, that's another con in the situation coming from this pandemic.
Yeah. I think for me, and I'm sure I can speak with, you know, for everybody else in this room, you know, we were about as introverted as we can get, you know, but even despite all of that, you know, it was still important for us to, you know, work on social skills, like you mentioned, you know, just being able to be social with our peers and our teachers, you know, just with the lack of FaceTime that's going on right now, it really kind of hinders the growth outside of academics.
Right.
You know, because now we're kind of impeding on life lessons and things like that.
Right.
You know, in JD's case, you know, he's graduating high school, and I'm not sure exactly what career path he may be going towards or going for, but you know, most jobs or most trades is going to require you to talk to people,
Right.
and you know, with this whole virtual learning thing that's going on right now, it's really kind of impeding on the social skills, you know, because I believe before you can do anything, you have to learn how to talk to people.
Right.
That's
definitely.
that's the foundation of, you know, any kind of skill set of any kind, whether it's construction, electrician work, plumbing,
Right.
you know, things like that. You know, app developing, IT, cybersecurity, things like that.
Right.
You know, first things first is, you know, before you even get the job, you have to learn how to talk.
Yeah, it's all.
You got to talk.
Communication is key.
Exactly. You know, communication is key. That's the very first thing you're gonna do before you actually do your, you know, your hands-on skills.
Right.
This, you know, like I said, man, this whole virtual learning thing has kind of been a culture shock.
Right. Very
For
good term for that.
you know, for
Very much so, yeah.
for everybody. You know, it's been a culture shock for everybody,
Right.
especially the younger generation coming up
Right.
through the school system. I mean, can you just imagine a 5-year-old having to log into a computer
Right.
to do schoolwork? They still don't even know what they want to eat
Right.
for
Right.
lunch. You know, like
Right.
Right.
you know, they're just getting the basics. Oh, this left shoe doesn't go on my right foot.
Right.
Now you're telling me
Right.
I need to learn how to log into this computer?
Sit down and focus.
Sit down and yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess, honestly, another nod towards the progression of technology. When we were kids, technology was not really a thing. Like, you know,
Yeah.
we might have had like a leapfrog or you know, some sort of like jump start on the one computer in the house that was slow, didn't have internet connection.
Right.
You know, it was based on, you know, you get the
Yeah.
CD, you pop it in, that's what it is. What I do feel like might be, you know, a positive in this is that a lot of these kids these days are growing up with tablets. They're growing up
Yeah.
with cell phones
Yeah.
that parents are passing down, you know, and everything. So they're kind of somewhat used to interacting with, you know, electronics and technology and stuff like that. Hopefully that branches into the academic world to where they kind of have some sort of segue. Now, the only thing that we can, because I don't have eyes on any of the lower, you know, generations, you know, learning curriculums and stuff like that. Hopefully they've got something that can at least, you know, keep them enthusiastic about, you know, the activity that's at hand, you know what I'm saying? Because like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, it's all pictures and colors and simple things like, you know, A is for apple and stuff like that. Hopefully there's something that can carry into the curriculum to keep them entertained like that.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's tough. You know,
Right.
you're online. Hey, I want to get this shape into this shape and things of that nature or whatever. You know, it's just funny to me, man, because I just couldn't see. I couldn't see us going through it. You know,
Right.
not saying we couldn't go through it, but you know, like you said, technology wasn't where it's at now that it was when we were in school and whatnot. So it's just real funny to me, man, because at the end of the day or whatnot, you know, we need that interaction because, you know, sometimes you can't get everything you want to get from just, oh, I'm going to text you or email you or whatever. Like,
Right.
can you imagine a 5-year-old emailing their teacher like,
Right.
hey, I need
I
some
mean,
help with
there's
these
definitely
shapes?
some
Like,
bridges
you know what I
to
mean?
be,
Yeah,
you know,
so, you know,
formed there.
so-
yeah.
You know, and then, I mean, that just goes back to me saying, like, you know, when it comes to students and things of that nature, you know, just like when you call, like, your bank or something like that, there should be a waiting line. So, you know, let's say, for instance, you are the 5th person in line and you'll be getting to after a certain amount of time.
Right.
Something like that there should be set up because it shouldn't be that, hey, I got something I don't get, I need your help. 3 days after, I get a response.
Right.
My thing is, I'm a visual learner.
Right.
So I need to see what it is you're showing me or what you're trying to tell me
Right.
is the correct answer. You know, I don't care if you got a little board and but hey, 2 + 2 is 4 or whatnot, and showing me how you got that.
Right.
Boom, I get it. I get that now, and I can do what I gotta do going forward or whatever. Because like I said, it really ails me to see that young kids are having to go through this or whatever. You know, in the day, like you know, it's gonna get to a point where they're so desensitized. They're gonna be like, what is recess? What is field day? You know, like what is all this stuff? Whatever. You know, like we'll talk about this stuff years from now. And they're like, man, you actually went outside.
Right.
Like that was a thing. Like
Right.
yeah, we had a good time too.
The
Like
good
it's
old-
just
the glory days.
right,
Yeah,
the
you know
glory
what I'm
days.
saying?
Like you know, so it's just
And it's funny because they're gonna think that's weird.
Right.
Going
Right.
outside.
Right, and now, like,
That's
and
crazy.
you got, you know, the younger kids that were set up to go to school for the first time are, you know, delayed for however long this process is going to be. And honestly, it seems like the younger the child or student or whatever, the further you have to kind of, like, you know, be more hands-on with that. Because like you said, I'd like to see a 5-year-old email their teacher about, hey, I don't get this 1+1 thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like with you talking about there's 3-day gaps in, you know, responses and stuff like that. That 5-year-old 3 days from now, they ain't even thinking about what happened about.
Right.
What are you
what
talking
you're
about? You know what I'm
talking
saying? So it's like you have to completely revisit the issue. At least, you know, like hope, you know, some by middle school and up, you kind of have some sort of memory retention and some sort of attention span. But for the younger kids, I struggle to see how any of that is going to be any sort of easy process.
It's gonna be a lot of repetition, you know.
Oh, for sure, it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be
Yeah.
frustrating.
because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you know, between both of us, we got 2 young kids, whatever. You know, you got a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
I got a 2-year-old or whatnot, and it's just I don't see them like getting engaged. Like, oh, okay, I need to sit down and learn this. Like, nah, my son right now, bro. I tell him, hey, go sit over there in the corner and do something. He be like, yeah. After about 2 minutes, Daddy, let's play.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't see that going on, man. And then you know, but I applaud all the parents that are putting forth the effort to, you know, get their child set up for that learning environment, things that they get them ready for virtual learning, you know, or whatnot. Because at the end of the day, they need that. They need some type of normalcy. But my own thing that I fear is, you know, being in that concealed spot. You know, 'cause like I said, I'll go back to this or whatever. You know, I'm not gonna say I was the best kid, but you know, we had ISS. So in ISS, you had to sit in the cubicle, and you hated being in the cubicle. And I'm pretty sure a lot of kids now, you know, they're sitting in their little, you know, work area and things of that nature. They just like, man, I just want to get out and do something. They almost
Right,
takes me back to Cat Williams, you know, when he was talking about, you know, kids on Ritalin and whatever. Like, hey, buddy, what you feel like doing? Running, you know, like I just, you know, it's just it pains me to see that for the young kids, but you know, for kids that, you know, have had somewhat of that experience, like even going back to JD, he's about to be a senior, so he's had at least 11 years of experience of being in school and you know getting the experience or whatever. But you got kids coming up now, they might not ever see that, and it's sad to say,
Right.
you know. So,
And I guess now we can kind of sort of shift the conversation towards the social end of the topic. Like for us, you know, and you luckily, like, I mean, you're as, I don't know how you've taken this transition, but like you're extremely lucky. This is your last year. You about to be, this is one and done and you done with it. But as far as like the social aspect of school, that was something that was very big, very developmental in everybody's character, you know, of who they are, who they're going to be, and everything like that. Like the kids that are newer to this school thing, like just school as a thing, they're friends that they're used to seeing all the time, and like, and I live with 2 little girls. I got a 6-year-old and a 7-year-old. And they talk about their friends and everything at school, and you know how, you know, they used to talk about them or how they used to eat lunch with them and stuff like that, and that's all gone away now. And like hearing them talk about it, like how they miss it, is a kind of like a foreshadowing thing. Whereas like, how long is it going to be till they see those kids again? You know what I'm saying? How long? Like by the time they see them again, they're going to be different kids. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're at home, they're away from, you know, social interaction, because the only interaction that they have, and that, you know, that's not to say that every kid's life is like that. They have the kids that got on the bus with them to go to school and stuff like that, that they kind of might have some sort of access to because they're in the neighborhood, but there's so much lacking in that. You're in a classroom with all these kids every day. By the time you get to the point of seeing them again, there's almost like you don't know them. You got to relearn those kids again. Like
That is a jungle, man.
Wow, that's deep.
that's rough.
That's why I feel like you have like pros and cons coming back to. I mean, going to virtual learning. You got people that like to socialize. You got people that don't.
Right.
You got people that need that energy to like motivate them to do their work, and you got people that just focus at home. Because with me, especially like with questions, if I need a question, I need it done now. And like I'm already impatient enough where I need, even when I'm raising my hand for half the class, you answering other people's questions. I need the question
Right.
now.
Like, hey, yo,
Like,
I was
I'm
over
over
here.
here
Like,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Hey, yo, boss. You know,
Right.
like,
But to like send an email and wait for a while is just it's
Frustrating.
Just, yeah,
It has
it's
to be.
frustrating.
It has to be
You can't
frustrating.
focus, and it throws you off your game when you're already in your zone of doing the work.
Right.
Now you gotta wait for this
Now
question.
you on hold.
It might not come from until after the deadline, depending on when they answer.
Right.
I mean, I feel like even with that, whatever the scales have tipped. So if you were really a non-social person in school, you're longing for that interaction now. And then versus if you were a social person, you're actually starting to learn yourself and like get beside yourself and just kind of use your brain more. Like, oh, okay, so
Yeah,
this is what I'm into, and blah blah blah, whatever have you, whatever. So it's just. It's interesting to see. And then I know earlier we had talked about cyberbullying and whether or not it was going to be a big thing or not or whatnot. From my end, I don't feel like, cyberbullying is going to progress any. But,
I mean,
we
I hope not either.
we hope not, but I mean, we had a funny conversation or whatever. I can't remember who said it, but it was just like, somebody might join on you about your resolution.
Yeah.
Like, you got that 480p, like,
Right.
Yeah.
what?
The 8-bit camera?
Right,
Right,
and then,
camera,
because I mean, I remember 180p used to be top tier. Like, yo, if you got 180p, you got some, got some stuff on you, whatever. And then it went from 480p and went from HD,
went from
and
480 to 720 to
Yeah,
1080.
all
Now
that.
we at
Now we at
4K.
4K.
Yeah.
Man, and then next year,
It just go
8K
up
is
from
about to
there,
be a
It's
thing.
dropping. Like, it's
So-
actually in stores right now.
Right,
Like, you know what I'm
right.
saying?
So I would hate as a child to get Joan on about my picture quality, like, bro. What's
Right.
going on? You looking a little pixely over there, bro. Like,
Right.
because at the end of the day, in this virtual learning process, you only gonna see from head down to here or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but when we were in school, bro, we got Joan on for kicks.
What are
Right.
those?
Right,
you know
what are
I'm saying?
those?
Before one of those was
Don't let them
Right,
kicks
before
squeak.
one of those
Like,
was a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't let them kicks squeak while you walk into the pencil
Man.
sharpener.
Oh, yeah.
What?
No,
Let it be dead silent. You got to sharpen your pencil.
Bruh.
That's supposed to be the time
Yo.
you're showing off your outfit.
Yo.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
that's
So
what I'm
you
saying.
can't. If you came with a fresh outfit,
How
you got
bad
your
you
fresh
need
Air
your
Forces.
shoes. Yeah.
You got a nice jersey on. You get up like, yo, let me go sharpen my pencil real quick so
Right.
everybody
Lots
can peep you.
Lots of them flea market shoppers used to get exposed on that
Boy.
pencil sharpener thing.
Hey,
Like,
why your man upside down?
Right.
Like, you know, like.
It's
But-
funny. It's funny because me and a couple of people had them shirts that Juicy J had with the skulls.
Oh,
for,
yeah.
3-6 Mafia.
Oh, yeah.
They had the glow in the dark skulls.
Bro, I
sir,
remember
them. Yep.
They ain't get one, but I remember.
But
All
man,
types of them.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny with the grill and the piggy
Right.
ring and everything, bro.
Yeah.
Pink Panther, everything's
Oh,
popping back.
We are not, hey, disclaimer, we are not old.
Hey, we getting there.
we're old. We're old.
We knock,
30,
knocking
right
on the 30 right now.
Ooh-wee.
But like,
Yeah.
as far as the social, this is a social experiment, I guess. This is a test of honestly, like friendship strength and relationships between
Strong word.
like that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
it boils down to that because like as he had mentioned before, a lot of the people that you used to hang out with, kick it with, talk to all day, every day. Now you talking about it might be a text every other day. Like, you talking about you not having contact with a person for however long it may be till you talk to them again. And like, I honestly, it would have hindered my experience. Like, I don't. If it would have happened while we were in school, like, where would we be right now? You know what I'm saying?
We probably don't even kick it like now.
Yeah,
That's
probably
what I
not.
thought about, because like with me early in high school years, I wasn't even talking to people as much as I am now.
Right.
Versus like, freshman, sophomore, I wasn't conversating.
Right.
And then now you have junior and senior years, I'm talking to everybody, and all of a sudden, boom, pandemic. I'm glad it happened to me now, though, versus then, because I
Right.
probably wouldn't have been social. You know, probably would have been quiet on the podcast.
Yes. But it's kind of funny now because, you know, even though you're separated, everybody is at reach now digitally. You know, it don't take much to send somebody a message, you
Right.
know, or slide in their DMs. But, you know, it doesn't take, it doesn't take much.
Stay tuned.
I'm just saying, honestly, but it doesn't take much to do that now because now you can reach more than one person, you know, at a time.
Right.
You know, you can group message 20 people at a time if you wanted to and things
Right.
like that. But like you say, you know, just as far as just just being present, you know,
Mhm.
that's just gonna be something that's not replaceable, in my opinion. I don't
Right.
think there's really no void to fill when it comes to that. But yeah, it's just gonna be very interesting. A lot of things is gonna be real emotionless, because I mean you can't really read you can't read emotions through a text message. You know,
Right.
like even no matter how many LOLs or LMAOs you put in that text,
Emojis.
and emojis
Yeah.
and things like that, you're not gonna really feel that
Kiss my
emotion.
ass.
Right, right.
Straight face count.
Straight
Typing
face,
that,
yeah. Like, it's like, even things like that, even if it's meant to be direct, it won't hit as much as somebody saying it
Right.
to your face, But
Right.
I'm not encouraging nobody to say that, but
Right, right.
just put it in context. You're not really gonna feel the emotions of somebody talking to you
Face to face.
face to face.
Right.
Everything's just all digital now, and I mean, there's some parts of technology that I'm all for and things like that, but I think when it comes to things like this, and when it's impeding actual social skills, it's just a huge hindrance on people. No matter the age group, is going to be a huge hindrance on social skills and just interaction in general. It's just going to be really, really tough. People have to learn how to work around that, or
adapt.
adapt.
It's gonna be.
Yep, you gotta be real creative. What you gotta do, because the hangout spots you used to go to can't really do that no more. So
Right.
you gotta hang out in different places.
I mean, shoot, I remember the last social experience, we all had, you didn't get to make it that day, but we all went to the cigar lounge, and that was probably the last time we actually got to go out and be a part of the world. This was at the beginning of the year, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Right before everything hit, we was like, yo, let's go to the cigar lounge and blah, 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 chill and kick it or whatever. Not knowing this was going to probably be the last time we actually got to go out there and just be socially active and things of that nature or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just like, like with technology, man, like they really gonna have to hit the gas on everything, because everything that was supposed to come out like years from now, they done had to put the gas on it now, because now you gotta more laptops are being purchased. Kids are either choosing virtual learning all the time or half and half. Like, so much is going into it, whatever. And I just feel like it will really be beneficial for gaming, to ramp up and get to where you can do virtual reality and things of that nature, whatever. So therefore, people can be involved. They can see other people. They can interact.
Right.
Because right now that interaction isn't there. Versus you just well, I don't know. No, I don't know because I haven't done it. But I'm assuming when you pull up the class, you got teachers, then you got all the students. I don't know for sure. Is it like that or?
I mean, well, for this year, like the way we did it before, like we ended off last year of school, we really didn't even have like group classes. We just got work, did them, and submit them. But as far as this year, it might be that way, because you already have the memes going around of people in Zoom calls, people acting up and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as now, I've never experienced that yet, and it honestly would be a good experience for me. I'm interested to see how that's going to take place in the future semester.
Right. It just all boils down to seeing people, because like I said, same thing. I've seen videos where, it's been a class of a couple of people and a teacher or whatever, And it's just like, it's not gonna stop nobody from being a class clown. I'm gonna tell you what, right now, class clowns are gonna exist whether they're
And you put them at home?
Right, you
Oh,
put them
yeah,
home, like,
that's-
bro, I'm kicking up, I got my pajamas on.
Oh,
Bro,
man.
what you wearing,
It's
fam?
overseas.
Like, it'll be interesting to see that aspect of it or whatever, because, like I said, if you can't be there physically, it's some type of interaction has to be made. So, if we're in a whole video class group or whatever, we be sitting there talking, I'm like, bro, look what you got on. It's just something like that or whatever, because for us, Jonah was a thing. It wasn't meant to be a hateful thing all the time. It was just how we
part of the experience.
right. It was a part of the
it was-
experience or whatever. So it was just a thing. So now I'm not gonna say it's gonna be taken away, because like I said, you can't get rid of a class clown, whether
Nah,
it's
you can't.
physical or online.
It's
Somebody
gonna
gonna
be
get
there,
roasted,
yeah.
man. Somebody gonna
Yeah.
get got. So. And I look back on it now, man, and like I would hate to have been hit by this pandemic, and then just like, dang, I wish somebody would join on me. Like one
Yeah,
time, like
that's-
just it's weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
You go back and think about, like, dang, man, I really took, I
Mm.
really took that for granted.
And that's something
know?
that, like, for real, like the older generation before virtual things took over, we didn't have to think about taking it for advantage, or like, you know what I'm saying, like, feeling like, oh, what if one day this ain't a thing. School was always school. Like, we go there, we show up, whatever happens through the day happens and everything. And then now it's like, from the kids who are used to a school environment transition into a virtual environment, same shit you're talking about is like stuff you're talking about is like, going from, the person across the room, like, hey, so, I see you might have some false jabots on, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell you, like, and
Yikes.
now you at home and, like, things kind of change up. Like, the worst they can say is, like, see a Cookie Monster robe going on back there. What's up with that? Or,
Oh, man.
them dirty mirrors from the selfies on social media start showing up in the background. Like, okay, so that's what you rocking with. Now they got more material to rock with.
That's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like what he said previously. He was like, we'll talk a lot of crap about how we don't like school. We're just here for the people. Versus now, he's just sitting here like, dang, now I can't even see my people no more. I really actually miss school. I want to go to school and socialize with these people and teachers and whatnot, so I can get that aspect and develop that for my future when I want to talk to customers or coworkers.
Right.
Something like that.
Cause I mean, go ahead.
And like, just like you said, like, I want to socialize with those people. The teacher-student relationship was important. Like,
Mhm.
and like I said, I feel like a lot of us had some positive experiences with teachers that we, got to encounter in school that had that touch. Like, I mean, that's a shout out to so many. Like, you got Skaggs, Finley, you got like and a lot of them are gonna be watching. So you know what I'm saying? So like, you can shout out to those people that like, yo, like y'all, the personal touch that y'all put on your experience, your classroom, really carried with us into adulthood. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And that's been something that like I don't know if y'all do, but like, hey, you remember that day where like so and so like they was lit that day, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be like a day where the whole class was acting up and they started acting up. It was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like you miss out on that with this virtual thing.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Cause I mean, I never think in a million years, the teachers I had 10 years ago and even further back, I'd be friends with on Facebook.
Right.
or
You know what I'm
whatever.
saying? Like
And,
it's just crazy.
But that just shows the step they take to go further or whatnot. Because when we were in school, everybody had a certain teachers they had or whatnot that was special to them and anything like that. But at the end of the day, all teachers are superheroes. Everything you do, everything that you put forth, and put into your class is very important because whatever you do leaves lasting memories.
Yeah.
And like I said, today I have a lot of teachers that I, used to love and adore or whatever. They're my friends now. And, we had that relationship based on we had that physical or that social interaction
Right.
or whatever have you. And, it's just like some of that stuff you can't make this stuff up. You can't make that love and genuine,
Right. Exactly.
wanting to help a student out up.
'Cause
or whatever.
you even see teachers now like responding to students' posts and like
Yeah.
you know like congratulations, like I'm glad to see you. Like now switching to virtual, there's only so much that they can react to. Like they
So
don't
much they can
they don't have
witness.
that personal experience with the student, with the child,
Yeah.
whoever, whatever the case may be. The students of this virtual learning experience kind of are at a disadvantage in that. Like as far as like teachers and stuff like that growing up, like we've got teachers I've got teachers that I've had since like elementary school like on my page and everything, and they're proud to see people growing up and accomplishing new things. Like I watch it every day, commenting on stuff like that. And now with this virtual learning, which we can only like legitimately hope and pray that this isn't the new normality of how things are going to go, because if that is, there's a lot of separation. There's a lot of social interaction that built children and students and stuff like that doesn't get to carry on into this new generation.
And is it okay if I shout out people?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to shout out Miss B. If it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have socialized.
Miss B was
like,
yes.
We had Miss B, so we
Miss
know what
B,
you're talking
oh,
about.
yeah. If it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't even socialize ever in my life. Well, not in my life, but it will take a lot to adapt to. And with the team of being together, you got a group of students. We're all socializing, becoming like basically a family. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I am now.
That's
Like
what
I'd
it
probably be struggling in this pandemic, struggling on a podcast, trying to speak up.
Yeah.
Because you're really the only one that taught me how to project. So I thank you and shout out to you.
Cause I mean that's where we at, because if we didn't have the corner, like I said, name of the show, we didn't have the corner where we wouldn't have had this.
Right.
We wouldn't have had the relationship that we have now, because if we were put in the same spectrum as what's going on now, you probably wouldn't even know us from anything.
Right.
You might see me at the store and I'll just keep it moving or whatever.
Yeah.
Because,
I went to
there's
school
nothing
with
to
that dude at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say, I think he was in my virtual class.
Right.
Yeah. I can't
Were we
really
cool?
remember.
Right.
But that just goes back. That social interaction is a big thing, and I'll be happy once we can get past this and kids can get back to being kids, and they gotta worry about keeping a certain distance away from each other and things of that nature, whatever. It's just an interesting place that we're in. And then with our generation, we've been through so much. We've been through H&N1, we've been through swine flu.
All of it.
Yeah.
None of that has hit like this has hit.
Right.
We've never had to go into a state of emergency where we can't even go to school. So it's just, this right here is going to be one for the books.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So I think this is good. I guess this would be a good closeout. Transition. We've covered some really good points. The whole virtual learning versus what we used to go through.
Right.
The whole social experiment. This whole culture shock of what's been happening.
Right.
I think I kind of want to say in my closing remarks for episode 1 is that in no way, shape, form, or fashion this is bashing teachers, bashing parents, or bashing students, or even advocating students to quit school, because literally you can easily close or shut down a computer as easy as you can cut it on. I think we're just kind of speaking from our point of view of what's going on, and with the experience of JD, what he's going through right now. We still want to encourage, the future generation to, even college students or even, grad students that are going back for their masters or their, doctorates and things like that. We still need you, in this
Keep
world.
going.
Please keep
Yes,
going.
keep going.
There's a lot of things that we feel that you can definitely excel in, and it's virtual learning. It's not all bad. There's some bad with it, but the good is that you'll develop skills, from a computer, with working with computers and the internet that you probably didn't think you would discover had it not had it not been for this this crisis, this pandemic that we're going through right now. So I do feel like virtual learning does have its role in many things for people to be put in positions to do different things, you know, with their with the newfound skills and the knowledge that they're going to learn. So, you know, like I said, this is in no way discouraging anybody to discontinue their learning. You know, with this new normal. You know, keep going because you know, somewhere in this field, everybody needs somebody for something. You know,
Right.
and I just feel as though this would be you know, this pandemic has been a good thing. You know, it's opened out, it's opened a lot of, it's opened out a lot of creativity, and it really exposed a lot of people to, you know, not just going the traditional route, you know, after school and things like that. And now there's more opportunity in different things, you know, especially in the, the AI world, you know, the artificial intelligence and just more tech savvy things out there. So definitely, you know, stay in school. You know, the old saying, stay in school. You know, keep your head in the books, or in the laptop in this case now. But you know, definitely keep going, man, and just really, above all, you know, just make the best out of it. You know, everything is whatever you make it. That's I believe that's my closing remarks on the topic.
What you got that?
I mean, my closing remarks, I guess, would be to, in this age of social distance and separation, find a way to draw together. Like I said, for my personal high school experience, our personal high school experience, the corner is not just the name of this, you know, segment, this show. The corner was something that was real to us. Like that formed our high school experience. That was our social experience in school to start off every day. If we get off the bus, we get dropped off, we drove to school, we met at that corner. To be social, to talk about academics, to talk about politics, to talk about relationships, to talk about anything that, you know, could possibly be going on. I feel like that today it's that much more important as we're being separated to find a way to stick together and, you know, keep that connection, because as he stated, since this transition has happened, you know, a lot of things have kind of gone with misconnections. People aren't talking to each other, people aren't communicating, you don't get that face-to-face time. Find a way to do it. And that's all I got to say on that subject.
Got anything to
I mean, I feel like we covered a lot on this video and whatnot. I don't really have anything to say as far as closing remarks, but I will say, keep the subscribers going, keep the likes going. We're at 20 subscribers now, and you know, be on the lookout for his page, Teron's page, and my page. We're all starting YouTube, and it'll be in the description below as soon as you're done with this video.
So that, with that being said, I mean, this is just a new world that we're living in. I mean, nobody was prepared for it that we know.
Right.
But we are here. We are trying to fight the good fight. We are trying to get through it and whatnot. And you know, all I can say is everything that we go through, everything that we're learning through this thing, all the information that we have from when we were in school, we just all need to pass it along, pass that info along, keep things going. Because one thing about memory, it's the strongest thing you can have, because there's some things you could forget and then lose forever. But as long as you have that memory, as long as you have that footnote in your head of something that went on, you can push it forward. So we thank y'all for joining us tonight on the corner, and keep an eye out for chapter 2, and we're gonna get into some good details. So we thank you for coming. We thank you for stopping by the corner. Y'all have a great night. Peace.
Peace out.
Yo, mass motherfucker, better record. Like, he killed me. I almost went off. When he was like, yeah, wink, wink. I was like, almost went off. I was like, yeah, this third fucking time we did this shit.
Don't do it, man.
Boy, about to be blood math and graph in this motherfucker.
Oh, dang. Wow, West?
Yeah.
That's my movie, boy. I fuck with that. Jim West with them glasses, bruh.
Right.
But I had every set came out of Burger King. What you talking
Bruh,
about?
I had a little, y'all might not remember this shit, but I had a little water gun. You had to pump that motherfucker
Yeah,
out the
bruh.
spray.
Wow.
Bruh, I had
setup,
that
bruh.
shit, bruh.
Wow.
Jim West had me fucking set.
Man.
Alright, come on.
That's
What
a
you
good-
doing?
You can press the button, the red button, right?
To turn it off?
Well, you know what? Nah, never mind. Don't even do it.
Don't- Look, don't.
Cause it might-
I'm trying to do what I know to do.
Right.